Computer says that it's. All right, it is officially due.
Yeah, it's time.
Hello.
Hi.
We're live.
Okay, wonderful.
Welcome. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm great.
Great.
I'm great, Erica. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day here in Valencia.
It is.
It's sunny and ready to talk about some celebrations.
Yeah. So our theme today, we'll see if everybody is going to join us. This page is a little different than last time. I can't see the comments. They're there.
Okay.
So, our theme today is talking about celebrations, festivals, sort of events, holidays, what have you.
Yep. And we chose this theme because the biggest celebration just happened. The biggest celebration of the year here in Valencia, Spain, which is Fallas, just finished on Sunday. So we had celebrations top of mind. And
Yes.
we're going to talk about Fallas and also teach some English phrases you can use to talk about any celebration, or special event that you can look forward to or want to tell people about.
Yes. So we are in a celebratory mood. Well, we actually just celebrated, but we are going to keep the party going by talking about it.
That's right.
So let's jump in.
Want to keep going? Okay.
Shall we?
Let's.
If you're joining us, go ahead and tell us where you're watching from.
Yeah.
We would love to know where you are connecting from in the world.
Yes. We do these live streams.
No. This is the last page.
Oh no. I think it's out of order then. Okay. I don't know why that is. I will try to fix it, and you.
Okay.
I think it's just one page. No, they're all out of order. Okay, I'm gonna.
Oh, great.
No, they're not all out
They're
of
not.
order.
It's just that one.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
Okay, that's fine.
I wonder how that got there.
There we go.
Here we go.
Put us in the middle there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put them there. Okay, perfect. Yes. So we would love to know what celebrations or what sort of festivals, parties, holidays are really big and celebrated where you live. And we will be talking a little bit about Fallas and comparing it to American holidays as well. But when you want to express your opinion about a holiday or a celebration, there's a couple ways you can do that. For example,
you could say, I love Fallas. If you're a big fan of this celebration, you could say, I love it. I love Fallas. Or what's an American holiday you love or celebration?
that I love. I love Halloween,
Oh, yeah.
obviously.
What do I love? I love Thanksgiving because it's just about eating.
Yeah, easy to love.
Okay.
Look, we have Giselle from Brazil.
Hi, Giselle.
Very cool. Hi. I can think of one celebration in Brazil. Wonder if she'll tell us about it.
Yes.
Okay. Or if something, if you think it's just okay, you can say that. Fallas is okay.
Don't love it, don't hate it.
Yeah. It's okay. What do you think? What's a celebration for you that's just okay or not your favorite?
Maybe Valentine's Day for me is okay because I think it comes with a lot of expectations, and in the end it feels like just like buying things because you feel like you should buy things or go out to dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you?
I feel that way about St. Patrick's Day. I don't have a cultural connection to St. Patrick's Day because I'm not Irish. But for me, it's not my favorite because it feels like there's only focus on drinking. You have to drink a lot
Yeah.
And
And
I
you're
don't
not
know.
into drinking a lot.
Yeah, I guess it just doesn't feel special to me.
It's an excuse to drink a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I had more Irish friends, maybe I would appreciate it more.
So you might even say, it's not my favorite.
Yes.
Our next phrase.
Yeah.
So this is a polite way to say you don't like something. You could say, I hate St. Patrick's Day, or I hate Fallas.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just, it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite. Or you could say, I could pass on whatever is Fallas. And that just means like, I would be fine if it did not happen. I could pass on St. Patrick's Day, basically.
Yeah. And actually, many people do pass on Fallas. They leave town for like the whole week sometimes because it is very loud. There are fireworks all the time, firecrackers.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to sleep. Lots of the roads are blocked off. So if you're trying to get to work or get to places, it can be frustrating.
It's pretty inconvenient, honestly. So Giselle says a big celebration in Brazil is Carnival. Yes. So Giselle, how do you feel about Carnival? Tell us, what is your opinion? Do you love it? Is it just okay? What do you think? Are you obligated to love it as a Brazilian? I don't know. So let's talk a little bit about Fallas, maybe explain what it is. You can see this picture. Oh, you have to select Roxanne. There we go. You can see, we'll go back to the previous slide for a second.
Oh, sorry.
So you can see this picture on the right side of the screen, this kind of big structure, painted sculpture type thing. This is a falla. And during Fallas, they are built all over Valencia and the surrounding villages. So you can maybe walk 3 streets and see another falla, and walk another 3 streets and see another falla. And they are built by like social groups, social clubs that get together, and they spend all year building these structures, and they can do lots of different themes, lots of different styles, as we'll see later. But they build them out of the sort of a lightweight material, and they are just out to be admired by the public, by everyone.
Yeah, and they often have maybe a political message or a social message, or they're clever, they're funny. So it is fun to look at them. There's a lot of details in them always.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Giselle says, I could pass on Carnival.
Oh my God.
Are you really Brazilian?
No, it's very understandable.
Yeah.
I'm sure Carnival is like Fallas, kind of loud and a hassle, right? And if you're not in the mood for a big party, I can imagine it. You might be like, hey, be quiet.
Yeah.
So yes, we totally understand that here in Fallas. So now I think we can go to the next slide and talk a little bit more about what is involved with Fallas. So we have the Fallas, and there are also other things involved.
Yes, so there are fireworks all the time, every day. So from March 1st to the 19th, every day at 2 o'clock, there is the Mascleta, which is in front of the city hall, and it's just like really loud firecrackers, and it's just about the noise, I think, and people, they get so excited about it. They all go there, and what else do you want to talk about? Food?
Well, yes. So there's fireworks and firecrackers are both really part of the Fallas celebration. Fireworks are like the pretty ones that you see on the screen where it's like, wow, light show. Yeah. Firecrackers are just the things that it's exploding gunpowder, and it goes boom. And so a lot of kids are throwing those around, and adults as well. There's a lot of street food sold. So Fallas is definitely a celebration that is held in the streets, in the community, in the neighborhood. So popping up everywhere are food stands, and we'll talk about that, but they're mostly fried food. And so, and there's lots of parades. What's a parade?
A parade? What is a parade? So you have people, usually there's some musicians, and there are like people dressed up, and they walk down the street, and then you have observers. So people standing and watching the parade go by. And you have a picture here. Is this 4th of July?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an American equivalent, well, in the U.S., there's always 4th of July parades. So there are community organizations, there are musicians, there are, I guess, artists, acrobats, all kinds of people in the parade. And at least in the U.S., they're always throwing candy.
Yeah.
You run and you try to get the candy.
Yeah, that's a
They
fun.
don't do that here.
They do it for the Three Kings parade.
Okay.
Yeah, they throw the cabalgata for the Three Kings. So for like an American to understand Fallas, like I made a comparison. There's sort of the fireworks and the parades of 4th of July, plus the fried food and kind of the late night, like staying out late and like hang out with people and seeing all your friends of like a county fair or a state fair. So it's just a lot of combinations of things, but we don't have anything really similar to this. I'm curious if Carnival in Brazil is similar.
Yeah.
And in what ways? Maybe Giselle will tell us.
Exactly.
But yeah, Fallas has a lot. Has basically those are the elements. There are other elements as well, but we'll see those.
Yeah, and
later
I know.
on.
Well, here it's big for the kids to be playing with fireworks, which I definitely did as a kid. Did you play with fireworks around
No.
4th of July?
My parents didn't let me.
Okay, it's probably smarter.
Yeah. But
Okay. Anything else with this slide?
no, I think the main thing to that stands out to me is like Fallas is such a celebration in this outside in the streets. Like nobody's in their house celebrating Fallas. Like you go out. Like that's the entire idea is like to go out and like go see concerts and whatever.
Be
and
seen, be loud. I think it's funny, the parades here, it's like each falla has their parade, but it's almost like the whole falla is in the parade and there's not that many people watching. They're just kind of walking through the streets, like making noise. I guess people come out on their balconies, like if they're going through a street with lots of apartments, people come and kind of watch from their houses, but I feel like the parades for 4th of July, at least, like you have more people observing than are in the parade.
Yeah.
And here it's like kind of the opposite.
Yeah, it can be. It depends on on the falla. But there's a main parade that's later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit of context or Americanizing. And let's talk about preparing for a festival or a celebration. So people want to know what you're going to do for that celebration. So you can actually say you can see on the balloon on the right side of the screen, what are you doing for Fallas? Or you can also use this one for summer holidays or vacations. So we have the next holiday here in Spain that is celebrated is Easter holidays. We have some days off. So Erica, what are you doing for Easter holidays?
I am going to Prague.
Ooh, that's fun.
Meet a friend there, and I've never been there, so a little bit of travel. They call it Holy Week, I guess, in English. And here in Europe, it's a big time for people to travel. They usually get some days off. What are you doing for Easter Holy Week?
I am going to be cat sitting for someone. I'm going to have a cat in my home.
You're sitting on a cat?
No, I'm taking care of a cat.
Good.
Yes, so that's exciting.
We know she likes cats, so
yes, I do like
it'll be
cats.
enjoyable.
Other ways to talk about the upcoming holiday. I can't wait for something.
I can't wait for. Ooh, I can't wait for Easter break because I get to see a new place.
Cool plans, yeah.
I could also say I can't wait for summer.
Yeah.
Because, well, we're both doing some traveling in summer, and I always like seeing new places. I'm also going to travel back to the States, see my family. So if you want to express that you're excited for something, you're looking forward to it, you can say, I can't wait for whatever.
Yeah.
Fallas, summer, my birthday, whatever.
Right. And then to tell people about your plans, I'm spending the summer holiday in, or this year for summer, I'm going to. So just different ways to tell people about your plans. And celebrate. And going back to celebrating, how are you celebrating? That's a kind of a tricky one.
Are we talking about the next pink one this year?
I was
sorry.
looking at this one now.
Okay. The green one. How are you celebrating?
Yeah, the green balloon on the left. So, for example, someone might have asked us, how are you celebrating Fallas? So that just means, what are your plans? Who are you going to see? What days are you going to go out? If you want to go see like a certain concert or a certain fireworks show. So how are you celebrating? Or if you ask someone, how are you celebrating Halloween? There's lots of different ways to celebrate Halloween.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
and Yuri says, right now many Asian countries celebrate March 22nd as the Easter New Year. I haven't heard this. So maybe Yuri,
I didn't know that.
What are you doing for Easter New Year?
How are you celebrating Easter New Year?
Yeah, that's kind of a new one. I know of Chinese New Year,
right?
The Lunar New Year, but this one's new for me.
Yeah, me too.
Does it have to do with Ramadan?
Solstice? Spring solstice is today, maybe? No, it was yesterday.
Okay.
And Giselle says Carnival is really big here. There are contest parades. So maybe people win for their floats. People work all year to prepare the carnival parade blocks. Yes. I think in English, or at least in the United States, we would call them floats. The like moving decorated platforms. Yeah, we call them floats.
It's a parade float.
Yeah, a parade float. And so you can win a prize. Do you win money? Because here in Fallas, they have competitions. Obviously, they have a ranking, but you don't win anything. You win the prize. I mean, you win like a little flag, and pride. Obviously, you're very proud, but you get there's no money.
You mean for the faya?
Yeah, for the winning faya.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and people spend so much money all year round, and they win, and they're like, yes, and there's no money to it. Yeah, that's what you get. The pride. You get to feel good about yourself, which I guess is a worthy cause.
Yeah, and just a note on these, you can also use these if you're talking about your birthday, so people want to know what you're doing for your birthday. So I could use this purple one, like I'm celebrating my birthday this year in Chicago with my sister-in-law, and my mom. So I'll be flying in the day before my birthday, and then they're arriving. So yeah. Nice. How do you usually celebrate your birthday?
Well, my birthday is New Year's Eve, December 31st. So people usually already have plans to celebrate my birthday. So I like to have like a morning celebration. So like a brunch or something during the day, because lots of people already have plans for the evening, and I don't want to try to sell them on a different thing. But I would love to celebrate my birthday with like a big party one year. Yeah. Someday I'll do it.
Do it. All right, next one.
Cool. Yes. Yeah. So, getting together.
This is kind of the big point of celebrations, fun things, is you do it with people. And depending on what you're celebrating, you might get together with family, or you might get together with friends, or sometimes both. Fallas, is it more of a friend get together? Neither of us are Spanish, so we're guessing here. But
right, I think it's everyone in your community. I mean, so the Fallas, like I said, they're also sort of formed by social clubs. So everyone in your falla, which is like could include 40 people, they all get together as well, and they hang out in. You want to go to the next slide? Yeah. So some more vocabulary. They hang out in these tents. You can see the tent, that white tent in the middle picture. Those are also all over the city, and so the falla, the big social club, gets together and hangs out In those tents, they have meals, they have music. They just spend like every evening together.
Days
yeah.
partying. Have you been in one of the tents?
No, I haven't.
I did last year.
Oh, how was it?
I got in. It was good. We had they have these big tables, and we had big sandwiches, and then they had like announcements. They have awards for like people who have been in the Falla X number of years. And then it turns into a party. They have a DJ, there's dancing, and then they, sell cocktail, drinks, and people come and go, and it's just, everyone knows each other, and they all have these, they're called polars. They're like the same kind of sweatshirt. It's like you have a color for the Falla, and they all, I think they have their names on it and everything. So
Yeah.
it's easy to spot who's a member of which Falla.
It's a cool club. Yeah. And then the other pictures on this slide, on the left and on the right, this was on Thursday night. We were walking around looking at Fallas, just through the city center. And through this one street, people were making paellas on the street, like over fire. They just had open fire and these big, huge paella pans. And paella is like, hopefully, maybe you're familiar. Paella is a rice dish that is famous in Spain, but is specifically from where we live, Valencia. So this is a very typical, special dish that people cook here. And I was just like so shocked to see people cooking just on the street, and the whole street was smoky. Oh my God, it smelled awful.
Really? Ooh. I don't think it would smell good.
It was just smoke from just too much smoke from the fire. But yeah, people were spending time making food together, hanging out in the street. Yeah. It was a pretty good time. Can you imagine something like this happening in the US?
I mean, the only thing that maybe I could think of is, I know there's like some barbecue competitions, so which is also something you cook outside.
Yeah.
It's very traditional, and they, just like this paella competition, they'll give prizes for like first, second, third place.
I don't think it was a competition. I think
when
people were just
before,
eating.
They like award people afterwards.
Okay.
If you wait till the end, yeah.
Interesting. I thought they were just like, what do you feel like? Okay, let's have paella.
I mean, maybe some are competitions and some aren't, but. And just a note on these phrases. So spend time. If you're talking about something in the past, you can say, I spent time with my friends. Okay, spent. And then hang out, you would say, I hung out. So I hung out at the Falla. I hung out with family.
Yeah. So who did you hang out with this Fallas?
I hung out with some Spanish friends. Tanya and Elena, and a few other friends. And yeah, we walked around, saw different Fallas, took pictures, we'll talk about the fried food.
Yes.
You and those.
Yes.
Who did you spend time with?
Well, actually, some friends of mine who live in Altea, which is like a city about an hour and a half south of here, came up to Valencia for the weekend. So I was able to see them, hang out with them on Saturday night.
Good.
So that was cool. Got to spend some time with them. Yeah, and just some common errors we hear. These are specifically errors that we hear from Spanish speakers, but we don't want to say I met with, like to say I met with my friend. I mean, it just sounds weird. It sounds like you had a meeting, and in English, like a meeting is different. It's for
it's like you have
business.
A purpose. Like I met with my boss to talk about a raise. Like it's very businessy, work related.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's like a false friend from Quedar. We also Spanish people like to talk about living experiences and like I lived this, which we just don't say.
Yeah, I think we use a lot of like money related words, like you spend time, I spent it. I'm trying to think of other ones, but yeah, they have more like experiential words they use.
It's very poetic. I lived this time with my friends. Like it sounds very nice, but we just don't say it in English. Yeah.
Okay, and Yuri, you wanted the other one.
And the other one is passing time. So in Spanish, you can say you pass time with a friend, but in English, you do not use
Spend. Time is money.
spend that time. Yes.
I know, I don't really love that. It's like money verbs.
It's precious.
It is precious. Time is precious.
Time is more precious than money.
Okay, and Yuri has come back with some info. So
Great.
people on March 22nd do the same things as anywhere in such cases, but without such pomp as the big parades in the West. Okay, so more subdued, maybe more relaxed. So many people drink hot drinks like Russian vodka.
Russian vodka is hot?
You drink it hot?
That makes sense. I mean, it's cold in Russia.
Right.
So why would you should have
Have you tried hot
vodka? Never.
I know that.
I've
Maybe
had-
it's vodka in a hot drink. Maybe it's mixed with something. else.
Maybe. I've had hot wine from Germany. They have Glühwein for like the Christmas time. It's lovely.
Ooh, yeah.
And the Turk language is the 22nd of March is called Nauris. I'm not saying that right.
Whoa.
Cool. Well, thank you for educating us about that celebration. And we would love to know, for everyone watching, what is your favorite celebration, or what is your favorite holiday? Something that you look forward to every year, and how do you celebrate it?
Exactly. Okay, next one.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
We've
The
reached
food.
the food part. The food part of the live stream.
Yes. So in many celebrations, there's some kind of fried food. Street food. So street food is usually they set up like a truck or something that's not permanent, and they sell food. And they're traditional dishes that you only eat once a year. So here in Valencia, buñuelos they're dough made out of pumpkin, and they fry them, and you put sugar on them, and typically eat them with like a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And you are a fan of
Fried
buñuelos.
dough. I mean,
Fried
what's not
dough.
to love? They're so good. They're just so good. Yeah, and I think it's interesting, like with a lot of holidays and special occasions, I feel like fried food is kind of universal. I don't know. Have you seen fried food in other situations, in other cultures?
Oh, well, when I lived in China, there was kind of always the option of fried food. Usually these places open late at night, but whether it was a celebration or not, it was like fried, especially like all kinds of seafood on a stick. That was kind of the thing,
Right?
Like tofu things.
Right? Easy to carry around. Street
around.
food.
Where I'm from Minnesota, and it's very common to eat cheese curds, which is fried like pieces of cheese.
Yeah, those are good.
It's very good.
Yeah. But in the U.S., when we have like we have these summer festivals called county fairs or state fairs, and they're temporary, and they're kind of just a celebration for summer, and there's sort of an agricultural component, and there are rides, like they have like they put together some roller coasters and stuff, but it's just it's sort of a cultural thing that they fry everything. They fry ice cream, they fry Oreos and donuts and pickles and pretty much
Candy bars.
butter. They fry butter. And so this is like, for me, it makes like, I have this very strong connection between like, oh yeah, celebration, fried food.
Fried food.
Absolutely.
It's just everything's better fried.
I guess so. I don't like seafood, but I like it when it's fried. So yeah, on the next slide, we can see the sort of, the little stands that Erica was talking about. And these pop up all over the place for about a week. And so they sell buñuelos, which are like the little donut-y things, churros, which is something you can get frequently in Spain in other parts of the year and other times of the year. But it's also fried dough. It's sort of like a little stick of fried dough. And they also have, French fries and sausages and lots of other stuff. Yeah. Just lots of street food, and you can go trying the street food, go from place to place, and
right. But during Fallas, it's very tempting because, like she said, these are everywhere.
Everywhere.
So you can't avoid them.
Yeah. Definitely trying to get you in a celebratory atmosphere. Like, come on, have some more fried dough. You know you want
Yes,
them.
please.
So yeah, I'm curious what other cultures might fry. Tell
I think
us.
all cultures fry things.
That's what I want to know. Do people fry things where you live in your culture? What do they fry?
Yeah.
Fried soup?
Let us know in the comments. Fried soup.
Is it possible?
Okay,
Alright.
and then another very common element of celebrations is traditional dress. So it's usually clothing that has been around for decades or centuries, and it's worn just, for a specific time in the year, celebrating a thing. It's not clothes you would wear, to work or to school or any other day. And we have some pictures here of the traditional clothing for Fallas here in Valencia. So the women have these dresses that are, what do you call it? Very poofy.
Hoop skirts.
Hoop skirts.
It's like a big hoop around them that gives it a very like bell-shaped form.
And always with a floral pattern. And then the men, I always wanted one of the men's.
The men look like pirates.
They look like pirates.
There's no other way to put. I think there's more variation with the men's style for Fallas. Like, and a lot of them have like a kerchief wrapped around their head, or they have like a blanket sort of tossed over one shoulder. And they have like kind of short pants and cummerbunds, which is like the fabric that's sort of wrapped around a waist. They look like pirates. There has to be a correlation between Fallas and pirates.
They look much more comfortable than the women's clothing.
Yes, that is true.
Just so cool.
Yeah. And I think it's important to point out that you can't call these costumes.
Right.
They're not costumes. It's traditional clothing or traditional dress. And this is something that is definitely, I would say, lacking in our culture, in American culture. We don't have these customs that, date back centuries where people put on these really traditional clothing. It's usually comes from places where there's a lot more history and people have been doing the same things for lots and lots of time.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely Native American traditional dress that they will wear, and they're called powwows when they get together for dancing, and they'll wear the traditional dress.
Absolutely.
And then I think they're just depending on which immigrant pockets. Like I said, I'm from Minnesota, so there is a lot of Scandinavian immigrants. So there are places where people will have like traditional Norwegian clothing, and they do dances and stuff, but it's not that common.
Right.
There are pockets.
Right.
But it's traditions not from the area, but that have been brought from other countries.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to sort of find a wider spread celebration in the U.S. that really sort of locks it on this. The thing that's like occurring to me right now is Civil War reenactments.
Yeah.
Where they would put on like traditional, because that's where they put on traditional dress and they like reenact the war. Anyways, I don't know if that counts as a celebration. Anyhow, so yes, clothing, very important. And
let us know if you have traditional clothing from your culture. I know it was very common in China to have traditional clothing you'd wear maybe for the New Year. Or when I lived in Norway, they would have the bunad they would get for their confirmation. And then they would wear that during like the National Independence Day, like certain celebrations. And I know like those are very expensive to buy because they are almost always custom made. So it's not like you can just go grab one at
Primark.
Zara. They have to be custom made. They're all unique. It's very nice fabric. And I know the same goes for the Valencian traditional dress. So not cheap.
Yeah. I think it's I don't know. There's something very impressive about like seeing someone dressed like this, like walking down the street, like looking at their phone. It's sort of like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah.
But
it came from a different century.
Yeah. It's very interesting. And I love it when they dress up the little kids too, and they look all traditional. They look like little cupcakes because the girls' dresses are like this, little cupcake. So more common elements in celebration. We've talked about some of these things before, but there's usually some events. And we talked about parades. And specifically, Erica was mentioning every falla has a parade. They have like a procession. And so you can see that's a picture from our balcony, my balcony, of a falla going down my street and playing music, and they're walking and they're celebrating and having a great time.
Yes. Yep, and fireworks at night we talked about.
What about concerts? Did you go to any concerts this year?
I did, yeah. I went to there's a local beer company that they had kind of a raffle. Well, you could buy their mark of beer and then their brand. That's a Spanish mix-up. Their brand of beer, and then you'd get a entry ticket. So, and then they were local bands from here, so that was fun. Outdoor concert.
Yeah, outdoor concert, outdoor music, very, very typical events for these type of celebrations. And then you can see in the picture at the bottom of this slide are all the falleros and the falleras, which are the people who like dress up and who are in fallas normally. They have one event where they all bring flowers to this huge structure, this like, I don't know, it's probably 15 feet high or higher, of the Virgin Mary holding Jesus. And so everybody, they parade throughout all of Valencia throughout an entire day, like just thousands of people walking with flowers to this wooden structure of Mary, and they put in all of the flowers, and then at the end of the day she has this dress of flowers, and it's actually really, really beautiful, really nice.
It's impressive for sure.
Yeah, so that's not a very typical event. I don't think that's a universal event, but definitely the parading is something that people can identify with.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yuri asks us, are there in the U.S. local celebrations of migrants from India? That's a great question. And do they have their traditional temples in the U.S.?
Well, I know it depends on where you are. Some places have bigger pockets of certain immigrants from specific places. I know at my college we always had a Diwali festival at school, so that's the Festival of Lights, traditional in India, and we'd have like, you could go to the dinner and there was like entertainment, so traditional Indian dancing and stuff.
Cool.
But I'm not sure about the temples. I haven't seen traditional Indian temples. Again, it depends. Usually bigger cities have more specific like temples for more specific religions. Yeah. I can't say that I have personally seen Indian celebrations, but I know that I'm sure they celebrate. I mean, I know they celebrate Diwali and probably Holi as well. And yeah, but I think it just depends on if there's a big Indian population where you live. And Giselle is laughing because, what did they say, Monica? Giselle, she knew why I made that mistake.
She understood. False friend.
Yeah, definitely. If you live in a country and you're not speaking your original language, it's sometimes you have mix-ups and you use
easy mistake.
The language of the country.
Yeah,
certain things.
And sometimes like a word will like pop into your head in Spanish before it comes up in English because it's like a word that you use more often. There's just like, I don't know, languages are just so different, and sometimes there's just a more convenient way to say something in a different language, and you know, like a more direct or like an easier way. Anyways,
next one,
so still speaking about events, right? So every celebration has some events that happen, and we talked about some typical ones, and then there's usually something special, something unique
to that celebration. So for Fallas, the unique thing for sure are these are called ninots in Valencian. So we talked about them. They're the structures, statues. I don't even know what to call them in English, but they can be quite large. Some of them are as tall or taller than the apartment buildings around them.
Yeah.
They also have, so they'll have the main ninot, and then they usually have the children's ninot. So it's like a smaller one. It's the children's ninot, which is cute.
Yeah, smaller ones. But you can see, so this one has kind of a style that's a little more realistic. It's whimsical, but it's just sort of like beautiful without being over the top. I really liked this one. I thought it was kind of sweet. And then if we go to the next one, you can see this style is really different. It's kind of more outrageous and more more crazy. The expression on the rabbit's face and the expression on the woman at the bottom's face. And you can see there's like people piled on top of people, and it's just for sort of fantastical. And this is a kind of a common sort of theme is like, you're never gonna, it's very rare to see an ninot or a falla that is just something that you would see every day. Like you wouldn't just see, like one person, or it's sort of a combination of lots of elements, and there's lots to look at, and there's animals and magic and
very fantastical.
Yeah.
Like something you'd see in a dream or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not trying to be realistic.
No, not at all. And speaking of dreams, the next one, this falla actually won first prize of something. I think there are numerous first prizes.
Wow.
But anyways, this one was just fantastic.
Yeah, impressive.
Just really vibrant colors and sort of whimsical, fantastical creatures, but not creatures that you would see, there were no just like normal dragons. There's sort of like a Chinese style dragon there, and then there's sort of like a deer creature at the top. Mm-hmm. This falla was just beautiful. It had like water features.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unreal.
So much detail. Wow.
So much detail. So much detail. And so you can see the work that people put into these designs, and
it's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's common during fallas to kind of walk around and look at the fallas, and everyone kind of has their favorite falla.
Admire. Yeah, a lot of admiration. So this is maybe one of the reasons that people love to come to Valencia for fallas, is to see these. I mean, it's also just a huge party. So if you like to party and drink and, listen to music, that's another good reason to come. Yeah. But I think that this is really what makes it so special. And the fact that at the end of the week, or at the end of the celebration, they burn all of the beautiful structures.
I know. I was there with some of my friends, and they were just like, it's so beautiful, and it's so sad that they're gonna just destroy it.
Yeah.
But I really like, I think to me it's kind of like part of the artwork, like watching how it burns, and then you kind of you see like the structure and how they made it. Here you can see like the wood beams and just how it crumbles and dissolves, and it's, I don't know, it's like, because it's finite, it makes it more precious or more valuable.
Yeah, I absolutely related to the symbolism of the holiday, because I learned about this holiday when I was living in a different part of Spain. And as soon as I learned that they burn these things that they've created, I was like, that is so poetic. It's like, creating something beautiful and then letting it go, and, just appreciating it for the moment that it's there. And then just saying like, I made this to destroy it. Like, so that always really resonated with me. So it's kind of cool that I get to live here and see it actually happen.
Yeah. It's really cool if you ever get the chance to go to, it's called the crema. So you go there, and it's the falleros, so the people in the falla. And sometimes they have like these firecrackers that are connected to the ninot, and they all light them at the same time, and then there's all these loud noises, and then it all bursts into flame, and everyone claps, and and then they usually play music, like kind of when it starts burning, there's like this music that they blare quite loud.
Yeah. And, humans love fire. I don't know if it's impossible to look away from fire. Sometimes it's just so captivating. So it's a very human holiday, but
definitely most of the animals in town are quite scared during Fallas because there's so much noise and they don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think all the smart birds just get out of here. Yeah. Just get away from all the firecrackers.
I guess,
yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, that is the summary of Fallas is lots of loud noises, continuous partying.
Yeah. Like Yuri says, the smell of burning plastic from yeah, that is a downside.
Yeah, it does. It's not plastic. It's I can't remember the name of the substance. It's a really lightweight plastic. So it doesn't, the whole city smells like gunpowder for at least a week because of all the fireworks that are constantly going off. But it's mostly wood and like a light, like a foam, like, that kind of like theater foam that they sort of, because they're very lightweight. Yeah, they're not super heavy. But yeah, there's a lot
it's a chemical smell.
Yeah.
The Ninot burning.
Yeah. Lots of smoke throughout the city all week.
But yeah, it's very loud celebration, very jubilant. Everyone's outside. I think it's very Spanish in that way. Like, very, just out there making noise, having fun, being with people,
getting together with people.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, what is your final take on Fallas? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think?
I can enjoy it. The thing for me is it's very long. So it's like days and days and days of firecrackers, of partying. I mean, I find it quite impressive that especially the people in Fallas can party so hard for so long. They party until late, and then it's a tradition to start firecrackers at 8 a.m. So like they must set alarms, and it's like I can foresee myself maybe going on a vacation at some point during Fallas because I'm not like a huge partier. I do like the music, and I love seeing the Ninots, just the artwork. But
yeah.
It's hard for me to party that much for so long.
I think it's hard for anyone. Either it's our age or our cultural background, but I'm with you. I'm not able to maintain that level of party.
I think it's a personal thing. I know people from Valencia who hate Fallas and they leave every year. They leave the whole week and they can't stand it. And then I know foreigners who just like they love Fallas and they love every minute of it. So it's kind of a personality thing.
For sure. My favorite part of Fallas, besides the Ninots and like seeing the big, like that just makes it's just so sweet. It's not sweet. Sweet's not the right word. It makes me excited to be walking down the street and then just see like a big sculpture. And I just get to go look at it for free. It's like artwork in the street. That part I love. But I also like the firecrackers are definitely the worst part because there are some that sound like they're so loud. They sound like, gunshots going off or like a car backfiring. They are so loud and they scare you. And that I think is the worst part. But I also love that people love them. Like I love seeing people just enjoy their fireworks and just being like, hey, they love it. They're obsessed with the loud noises. And so I'm happy that they're happy.
Right.
That's sort of my final take on it. But yeah, I think it's a very unique celebration and a unique holiday.
Yeah, and I think no matter what the celebration you're talking about, I think there's always parts you really like and then parts you could do without. So I think that's common. But, well, thank you for joining us today on this live stream, and let us know if you're watching this later. Let us know about celebrations in your culture, what you love, what you could do without,
what you could pass on.
Yeah.
And yeah, tell us if you could see yourself partying it up with the falleros here in Valencia at some point.
All right. Well, until next time.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.